Okay, we're going to try a sound check here.
Bark, 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 bark. Bark, 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 bark.
We have to get on, we have to get on. We have so much time and so little to do. Strike that. Reverse it.
Does everyone just ride their native herbivore to school?
They wear helmets.
We've got more dead skin in that rodeo arena than...
The Loch Ness Monster!
Hi, welcome to Comedy Parenting Radio. It's the show that delves into the hidden mysteries of Vaseline. We want to welcome all of our listeners, our new listeners from Montreal, Canada, Dana Point, California, and Becker, Minnesota. Welcome to Comedy Parenting Radio. We've got listeners on iHeart, iTunes, Stitcher, Sonos. Oh my word. All over the map, aren't we, Joshua?
Yes, we have them across 7 different continents, 13 different planets, and 8 solar systems.
Sounds good. Today, we're going to be talking about animals you can ride. Sorta. We'll be right back.
Are you stuck with a bratty little kid for the rest of the day? Maybe it's your grandkid, your neighbor's kid, or your own little brat because your spouse is a lousy parent. In any event, you can save yourself a big headache if you give them a copy of Dad the Tooth Fairy Didn't Come to look at. The funny pictures and big vocabulary will keep them busy for hours and hours while you sit on the couch and check your Facebook account. If you're looking for some peace and quiet, order your copy of Dad the Tooth Fairy Didn't Come from Amazon today.
Comedy.
Parenting.
Radio.
I've been through the desert on a horse with no name. It felt good to be out of the rain.
Anybody here in this room been upside down on a horse?
I haven't been upside down. I've always been right side up, but then again, I've never ridden a horse without a saddle. So,
I've never come upside down. It'd probably, if you had a saddle and you go upside down, it'd probably because your cinch strap was too loose and the entire saddle just slid.
I've seen that kind of thing happen. What else can you ride?
A pig.
What do you mean you can ride a pig?
more specifically a hog.
A hog?
Or a greased pig.
Yeah, you know, when I was a little dude, they used to have greased pig contests at the county fair. So all these kids are out there running around trying to grab pigs. And if you actually got a hold of the pig in the right spot, you were being drug around the arena by the pig.
And those arenas are not the cleanest arenas in the world. So you'd end up coming back from the fair looking like a pig.
Except for you're not pink.
Tell me about the hog thing.
Well, oftentimes people, and I've seen this done before, they will get a hog to start feeding, and then they'll sneak up behind it and then jump on its back, and the hog will just take off running around, sometimes going in circles, just tearing up the dirt, and the person just hangs on and rides that pig.
That's how I used to do it. You feed the animal, but then you jump on it.
Any specific animals you've done that with?
A cow. You go out and feed the cows, and all of a sudden you're like, yee-haw, it's a rodeo. The problem with jumping onto a cow when you're feeding them is there are other cows all around you. It's like when you fall off, you're laying on the bottom of a bunch of cows. So it's not really that good.
Speaking of rodeo animals that people ride, but most people don't, sheep.
Yeah.
One sport that is very famous for riding sheep is mutton busting, and usually it goes up to 6 to 8 years old.
The rider does.
Yeah,
that's
the rider.
The limit.
And you can start them, I think, from 2 is the youngest that you can start them.
Man. Yeah, when you see like a little 2-year-old sitting on a sheep, they wear helmets.
Yep, and protective gear.
Yeah, protective gear.
Usually.
They should have a Zorb on them.
Yeah.
Joshua, didn't you used to ride a sheep?
I did, but not in mutton busting. We had a sheep at the ranch that we were at, and I rode it once on accident, and it knocked me into a fence. It was a very mean sheep.
That was a mean sheep. You're listening to Comedy Parenting Radio. It's not time for a break yet, so let's keep talking. We had a rodeo at the ranch that we used to manage, and clowns and all that. And so the problem there on that one is you didn't fall into nice soft sand.
Nope, you fell onto hard
cinders.
Cinders.
Yeah, they were cinders. Whoever the person was that decided to put cinders in a rodeo arena should have had to fall on them themselves.
We've got more dead skin in that rodeo arena than any one person's skin-scraping soapstone or whatever it is.
At the spas. We got more.
Yeah.
We have more skin in that rodeo arena than the spas in Europe combined.
Because we had a lot of bad riders.
Yeah.
Speaking of rodeo, I know you can ride bareback, but you can actually ride bareback, like you can ride on the back of a bear.
I only know one person that can do that.
Vladimir Putin.
All Americans know that Vladimir Putin can ride a bear.
He can ride a bear.
We've seen the photos.
Yeah.
Every single American has seen the picture of Putin riding bareback on a bear's back bareback.
No saddle. You're listening to Comedy Parenting Radio. We're talking about animals you can ride. Sorta. We'll be right back.
Dixie was a lady and a rodeo queen.
Okay, forest animals, kids are coming to the forest, and it's up to us to make their visit a good one. Sparrow, have you practiced the most popular bird songs for the year?
Of course.
Catchy. I like it. River, how's the temperature?
It's a refreshing 52 degrees, man.
I love it. Turtle.
He's not here yet, man.
He's late every morning. Okay. Squirrel.
The forest has been preparing just for you. To learn more about cool things to do in the forest, visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Comedy Parenting.
Stop imitating Fezzik, and I mean it.
Does anybody want peanut?
Okay, Comedy Parenting Radio, animals you can ride. Sorta. I saw a photograph this summer of a guy riding an elk in Aspen, Colorado in the 1800s, late, maybe early 1900s.
An elk, eh?
The elk had antlers, and the guy put a bridle on the elk, and he was riding with a bridle.
Really? So he had a tame elk? He would just...
Yeah.
Was he a mountain man?
I don't know, but he was in Aspen. Do you think you could ride a moose?
A moose? I'm fairly certain that everyone in Canada has ridden a moose at one point or another in their life.
They have to ride them to school.
It's the school bus, or should we say moose bus?
Anything about a moose that would scare you riding, Elijah?
Well, the thing that I'd be worried about is definitely getting bucked off or thrown.
Yeah.
You could be thrown all the way into Glenwood Canyon.
People don't know where that is.
The Grand Canyon.
They could throw you clear over Saskatchewan.
Yeah, from Saskatchewan to the Grand Canyon.
Ooh, yes. Camels. You've ridden a camel before, haven't you?
Yes, I was in Turkey.
Turkey?
Mm-hmm. I did ride a camel once in Turkey with a French guy named Gilles.
What was that like?
It was by the ocean. There were lots of ruins there, and you pay to get on the camel. And when it stood up and we started riding off into the sunset, Gilles and I made up a song to sing while camel riding.
What was that song?
Well, you have to understand in Turkish, the words gule gule means goodbye. So we were riding the camel off into the sunset singing gule gule, gule gule. Gule, 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 gule. Watch it now, watch it, watch it, watch it. Ride on your camel all day long. Ride on your camel singing this song. Gule, 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 gule.
Did they ever let you go back to that place?
No, we were banned from the entire country of Turkey.
Well, riding on a camel is actually a rather common thing.
They ride them to school in Iran.
Does everyone just ride their native herbivore to school?
Yes.
So you rode a cow to school?
Yes, and then the Eskimos, they ride polar bears to school.
Hey, it's a camel bus and a cow bus. We can add that to the moose bus.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that people do ride quite a bit, actually, are ostriches.
Oh, I've seen that.
Imagine riding on the back of the ostrich. That'd be scary because he only has 2 feet.
The thing that would worry me is that you hurt the ostrich by riding on the ostrich.
Well, they have pretty strong legs. I mean, they kick in the teeth of lions.
An ant can carry 100 times its weight, so I'm not worried about an ostrich.
Yeah, speaking of ostriches, has anyone read the Swiss Family Robinson?
Me.
You remember the bit where they found the ostriches and then tamed them?
Didn't they do ostrich races?
I think so,
There
yeah.
you go. Ostrich races. You're listening to Comedy Parenting Radio. We're talking about animals that you can ride. Sorta. We'll be right back.
Confessions of a Potentially Perfect Parent, brought to you by AdoptUsKids.org.
I don't know how to talk like a parent. Don't make me come back there. You see what I mean? It's pretty awful. Try it again. Don't make me come back there. Now that's pretty good. That one kind of sounded like my dad. Weird.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who would love to put up with you. Call 1-888-200-4005 or visit AdoptUsKids.org for more information. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt Us Kids, and the Ad Council.
You are listening to Comedy Parenting Radio with your host, Jared Begley.
It's Comedy Parenting Radio, talking about animals you can ride, sorta.
Well, I think that you could ride a kangaroo.
I don't know. How would you ride a kangaroo?
You'd hide in its little pouch for its babies.
No, you'd sit on its back.
Oof.
Brutal.
I hope you have Velcro.
Well, you'd probably have to have some kind of saddle. They could have kangaroo rodeos.
You know, I believe that based on just how I've seen guys operate, that somewhere in the world people have tried to ride kangaroos. If you've tried to ride a kangaroo before, call into the show now.
We don't actually have any working phone lines at the moment, so if you did try to call, we apologize.
Oh yeah, our phone's disconnected temporarily.
I'm gonna add this to my list. The Aussie people from Australia ride kangaroos. Let me write that down.
They ride them to school, right?
And now Kangaroo Bus is on my list.
You know, we have an American counterpart to the kangaroo.
What would that be?
Jackalopes.
Oh, yes.
It's a cross between a jackrabbit and an antelope. They have little tiny horns, and it looks like a rabbit with horns, basically. So maybe you could ride a jackalope. I'll bet a couple of cowboys have tried it. Randy, if you're out there, we know you've tried to ride a jackalope. We're sure of that.
You'd have to have a pretty tiny saddle. It would be just like one stirrup. Just put one foot in, and you have to balance on one foot while it jumps around.
There you go.
I know an animal that you can ride, sorta. The Loch Ness Monster.
How would you do that?
A snorkel.
You'd also probably have to have a gym suit or something. I've heard that Loch Ness goes fairly deep.
A gym suit, like with shorts and tank top and tennis shoes?
JIM.
Oh.
I bet you all the kids from Scotland ride the Loch Ness Monster to school.
I bet they do.
I'll put that down on my list as the Loch Ness Monster bus. Actually, I should call it the Nessie bus.
Well, I wonder if it would be plausible to take a selfie with the Loch Ness Monster.
You could try, but you know it would always come out blurry.
I've got tons of photos of the Loch Ness Monster right here. Here, look at this picture that I printed off.
That looks like a pool floaty, Dad.
Try this picture. Look, that one looks pretty good.
That's an alligator.
It does, but you can absolutely see that it's paper mache.
Okay, try this picture. I printed off that one.
It looks like a fire plug.
Here, try this one.
That's made out of Legos.
This one is the most authentic picture that I can find on my stack. Hang on, I got it right here. Check out this picture.
That looks like a flagpole in a pond next to a school.
Okay. Can you pull out one more picture?
I got one here in the drawer. Hang on. Right here. Here, check this one out.
That's made out of milk jugs.
You know what, though? It looks more convincing than any of the other ones he's done.
They're all blurry.
You've been listening to Comedy Parenting Radio. It's animals you can ride. Sorta. Thanks for coming up to the studio today, guys.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
And when you guys go,
Yeah?
go ahead and fire up the hydro. We're heading into town for ice cream.
Sweet.
Sweet.
I'll go grab the sword.
Literally sweet.
Bye-bye.
You do dum-dum, you give me gum-gum.